Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast. My name is Mike Redman. I am your host alongside my brother Darren Redman. And tonight we are going to talk New York Giants football, and for the first time on this channel, NFL football, as it is officially the opening day of the NFL season. I know there were a few games a couple days ago, but today actually kickstarts that season. The date, as you know, is September the 8th. And we have with us Charlie Serrano, super fan of the New York Giants, bold enough to wear the Giants colors after their performance today, but that's okay. We'll dive into that just a little bit. And just want to shout out thanks to Jake Redman as well, our producer. Thank you. So for what you do, this wouldn't be possible without your expertise. So we just wanted to say thank you and shout out. And one other person before we get started, we'd like to shout out to, and Darren, if you wouldn't mind reading a word from our sponsor.
Chris Bennett, I tell you, the gentleman owns Nashville Tax Solutions. That's Nashville Tax Solutions. Attention, Palm Bay, and everybody else. Do you have tax problems? A lot of us do or know people that have. Nashville Tax Solutions has got you covered. You know, whether you're behind on some returns, you're facing a lien, or just need some expert advice, or something just hit you in the middle of the night. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, there's a team ready to help. And hear what, one of the clients has to say who wrote me. They said, Chris Bennett and his team saved me from a financial nightmare. That team is knowledgeable, they're clear, and they're compassionate. So there's so many stresses in this world. Danny Dimes throwing nickels is one of them. Notre Dame losing to the Little Sisters of the Poor yesterday is another. You think the Giants losing today was bad. Notre Dame yesterday losing to a high school team on the way to a science fair was even worse. I'm sorry. Don't let things like that stress you out. Nashville Tax Solutions is the place. Call 615-502-2250 or visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Nashville Tax Solutions, where tax solutions are achieved.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Chris Bennett, Nashville Tax Solutions. He's actually currently probably on his way home from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game against the Washington football team. So shout out to him. But tonight we are here, like I mentioned earlier, to get to know and talk with Charlie Serrano, super fan of the New York Giants. Charlie, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and a little bit about you, what you do, and how you came to love the Giants so much.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Mike and his team to their channel here. They invited me to their channel Around the Ballpark, and very honored to be here. I've been here in Florida for 12 years, about 12 years, and it's been a little frustrating, watching the Giants play those 12 years that I've been here in Florida. But I work for the credit union, Space Coast Credit Union, and my family. I have my wife and 4 kids here in Florida. 18, 20, 18, 15, and 8 are their ages. 3 girls and a boy. So to get to the questions right away, because I know we're pressed with time here. But I became a Giants fan. I didn't see the '86 Super Bowl when it aired. I saw it, I was growing up, and actually I got into football, ironically, being a Jets fan and being frustrated watching them play. I was like, I couldn't watch Richard Todd back then, who was the quarterback. I'm tired of watching this guy play, and then, and these losing seasons. So I said, you know what, I want to say maybe 14, 15, I said, you know what, I'm just going to watch the Giants play. It was definitely I watched the 89 season when they went 10-0, and then they lost. Well, Phil Simms got injured, and then they lost that Monday night game. I think that Monday night game that year, it was the 49ers and the Giants, and they were both 10-1. And it was an exciting season for us. I was definitely didn't know how it was going to go with Jeff Hostetler, but it was like, it was crazy, and just seeing that whole season just made me even love them more because of, backup quarterback, coming in and doing his job, and just that defense was, tenacious, just seeing those sacks and those rushes from back then, when you look back at that, it's just awesome to watch. And then, frustrating years during the 90s. I mean, Kerry Collins, when he came in also, brought us back some glory. Disappointing loss to the Ravens in the Super Bowl that year, and then I watched Eli Manning through his whole career, like when they drafted him, how they drafted him, and so I've been around. I've been at the stadium. I mean, we at the old Giant Stadium and then the new MetLife. So it's been a journey being a diehard Big Blue fan.
Yep, and before I kind of get into my first question for you, Charlie, is because I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, so they were losing 30-0 at halftime. So compared to that, Giants had a great day. But kind of diving into the New York Giants, but going over today's game. So Vikings 28, Giants 6. Kind of assessing what went wrong, what went right. Of course, starts with the quarterback, Daniel Jones, 186 yards passing, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 44.3 quarterback rating. Rushing the ball really was not effective. The lead rusher, 10 rushes for 37 yards, Devin Singletary, and then Malik with 5 receptions for 66 yards. So right there, you can tell without watching him into the game, not going to score a lot of points with those statistics. But so, Charlie, I'll start with you, and then Darren. What can you take away from the game if you had to find a bright spot you see that box score? Sometimes games are a little bit closer than they appear by the score, but if you had to be positive, you had to put your positive Giants cap on for a minute. Is there anything that Giants fans can hold on to with hopes for going into week 2?
No, just kidding.
It's an honest answer right there. You go.
Honestly, I mean, I think the rookies played well this first game going in there. I mean, obviously they were going to Neighbors a lot, and I was a little frustrated because I couldn't find the game. I couldn't get to the game live, so I was watching a lot of the important plays during the other games. So 5 receptions, 66 yards for Neighbors. I mean, I feel like, as a rookie, just getting that much yards, I wish he could have gotten 100 yards, at least broken 100 yards as a rookie, as his first game. But I feel like he, when he had to catch the ball, he caught it, and he shows a lot of promise. Only that, that if he could have a quarterback that can, that can throw to him, like consistently, like, he can become, one of those great receivers that, we see in other teams. So that's the only I can say, because overall, the defense, offense, I mean, I was looking at the numbers. We didn't do well at all, man. I mean, it was kind of hard just to see something good for this game. I mean, overall, I mean, I was watching the interviews as well. They were getting frustrated with all the questions the reporters have for them, and some of them even told them, can we pass to the next question? So it was so hard to see, disappointing to see that score when I turn on the TV, so yeah, I think it's week 1. Well, it's cliche, but week 1, back in the burner. That's it. It's done, and look forward to the Commanders.
Yep. And so, Darren, I'd like to go to you next. So one of the things we love to talk about on this channel, those that have followed us around for all the teams that we've covered so far in the Major League Baseball, but one of the things we love to talk about is the stadium experience or the ballpark experience. So talk a little bit about, Darren, about MetLife Stadium, the terms of the experience, what you can expect if you have not been to that facility, and just the experience as a whole.
Well, I'll talk about that. Then I definitely want to talk a little bit about today's game. But MetLife is a sore subject for me because, you mentioned, Charlie, you mentioned Richard Todd, and I've had season tickets for the Jets from the time that Richard Todd retired. Well, he was actually still the quarterback. I had season tickets from 78 or 79, 80, right in there until about 2006. So I moved to the Meadowlands with the Jets. Saw a lot of Giant games there as well. I loved the Meadowlands. I thought the Meadowlands was a better stadium. I'm sorry. It just was. It just, to me, felt more home. It had those big circular walkways, and, it wasn't, you're not supposed to do it, but during halftime, they would throw change and money down the circular pathway. And then there would be enough money in there that somebody, Charlie knows where I'm going, somebody would run in there to pick up the money. And you wait to that. Everybody poured their beers.
Oh, my goodness.
Into that. And they put security there, whatever. I mean, MetLife is fine. But all they did was make the Meadowlands again. There was no need, and the turf right now in MetLife is terrible. It's terrible turf. So that's all I got to say about that place.
That's okay.
So anyway, back to the Giants. To me, the best thing that happened is, and Charlie, you said a home run. Seriously. It happened. Let's move on. Let's learn from it. Let's see what we have. The Giants were not going to go undefeated. The Jets are not going undefeated. The Panthers obviously won't be going undefeated. Nobody will. You want to get to at least 10 wins. So how do we do that? What can we learn? The offense needs to understand that, Barkley's not with the team anymore. Can't cry over that. In his 3 touchdowns that he got the other night. But who are we? I'll tell you who we are right now with the Giants. They just too loose with the ball. Danny Dimes is hearing voices that are not there. He is our starting quarterback. I tell you, it's interesting.
Yeah.
In today's football, which is just aggressive two-hand touch,
yeah,
the Giant identity has to change because they were known and revered and honored and loved. You mentioned those Giants about defense. Smack you right in the mouth. Smack somebody in the mouth, now you get a penalty. You got to write a note of apology. So it's a different game. So the Giants are caught in transition. I'm disgusted. I looked at some of these scores this week. What if it happened to a 14-7 game? So tough defense, punch in the mouth kind of defense, But now it's pinball. Everybody's scoring 28 points, 40 points, this and that. Why? For gambling and for fantasy league. In my opinion, it's just opinion. I throw to the experts. Seriously, I throw to you, Charles. Charlie, I throw to you, Mike.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the style that the NFL has, I guess, groomed, in current years, I mean, it's more, protect the quarterback, and and you're right, the Giants are known for defense. Giants are known for like hard core. Like when you look at the 90s and the 80s, how they had their defenses. I mean, we don't brag about this, but I mean, LT changed the game, like, by injuring Joe Theismann. I mean,
snaps his leg.
Yeah. I mean, and it's painful to see, but that's what it was all about back then. I mean, people were getting, I mean, we're watching our players' health and all that stuff. I mean, but that's how the game was created. It's just like any other physical contact game that you see out there. And right now it's sad to say that it's too physical, two-hand touch style football. And I was expecting more from our defense more than our offense this season. I mean, this game. With the new defensive coordinator from Tennessee, Tennessee had a good defensive strategy when he was there. So he was also saying we're aggressive and we're going out there, and I called talking all this stuff that I was like, all right, that's what I'm talking about. And then here we are. The only one who had a sack was Dexter Lawrence, and he's a DT. I mean, like, where was Burns and where was Thibodeau? Like, where were our linebackers? Is my question.
100%. Yeah. Yep. They were going on pass coverage is where they were. They were putting no pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. So.
Yep. And I have to do a quick shout out. We have 2 women that have commented on our live. One goes by the name of Eileen, and there's a Jasmine as well. Total random people. Wanted to say thank you for chiming in tonight and the support. And former councilman as well. We got Brian Anderson in there. Definitely a good win by the Bucks. Shout out to Robert Shoemaker. Says, what up, Mike and Charlie? Good to hear from you as well. We'll be having him on in the future, Cincinnati Bengals fan. So looking forward to that. And yes, Mayfield did look good. Comments look great. Look good to see him doing so well after 2 subpar efforts on other teams. So good to see him doing what he's doing on a winning team. So and Jasmine, I know the Giants today, but it was just 1 loss. There'll be more opportunity. We'll see what happens there. So, but as we kind of continue on, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us. That's what we're here for. But for right now, I wanted to kind of get into, let me ask you this question, Charlie. So attending today didn't happen. Someone's kind of going into it starting week 2. Who's someone under the radar on the Giants roster that you expect big things from? Maybe not someone that everybody might know, could be on the defensive side, just anyone that people could start to look into.
I mean, I think they should change the strategy with the receivers. I think we have some good receivers, and just use let's switch it up a little bit, man. I mean, screens. I mean, go to our running back, our tight ends. I mean that. I think that the tight end that we got, which was what's his name? The rookie, Theo Johnson, I believe his name is. I mean. He's good. He had a good college career. I mean, going into this training camp. I mean, he shows some promise. A lot of people are using tight ends a lot. I mean, I feel like that's where we should focus on our short passes instead of going, like always going down the field. Try to create a short pass strategy, and then let's fool the defense. I mean, throw it to Neighbors or throw it to, someone that's going to catch the ball, because I heard that Jalen Hyatt, dropped the ball today. He had a shot there. I mean, Robinson is good. I don't know about Slayton. He's a on and off guy. You never know. What you're gonna get from him. Sometimes he's good on a good streak. So I mean, I would say Robinson. Go to Robinson more. I feel like he should be like in a slot position where you can get more out of him, and offensively that's. I mean, I can't really pick a guy that I can see right now that's gonna stick out. I feel if they consistently go to Neighbors, they're gonna get a lot from him as well. But don't overwork him either. You got to spread the ball.
Yep. And Charlie, we have one of our watchers, viewers, has a question for you. Does Charlie have any thoughts on not keeping Barkley?
When
PG thoughts. PG thoughts.
When he went to the Eagles, I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed that he chose a rival within the division to go to. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I feel like that he wanted to get the money, but I feel like if he was the one that was gonna perform, because I could see it now. The first game with the Eagles, I mean, I can't believe he had 3 TDs. He was playing like an all. Come on, man. What are you doing, man? I mean, really, you're giving that performance, with the Eagles. Like, I was so upset about that because I feel like the money drives him. Okay, so now they're paying me. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna play my heart out. It shouldn't be that way. I feel like it shouldn't be that way. I feel like if he would have played all his 4 years or 3 years that he was with us hard, that the organization would have said, "Hey, Barkley, we're gonna give you this because we know for sure that you're gonna go out there and do this for us." I feel like that the injuries hurt him, and and then the performance from last year. His performance from last year. I mean, it's not nowhere near what he did against the Packers on Friday night.
Yeah, and no, thanks for sharing. And Darren, I have someone here, Flyers Forever, chimed in. Eagles for the chip. What are your thoughts on that? Just off the cuff.
What I think about that?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think that the Eagles are a fine team that will make the playoffs and lose, and first round and out. I mean, but I will tell you this: I prefer them over the Cowboys. But look, the Jets with Zach Wilson last year, tossed them like salad. I mean, Eagles, shh, right now. I mean, Flyers, by the way, shh. So, but I love Philly. I do. But it's all seriousness. I love the Eagles. I love Warren Carmichael. I love Ron Jaworski. I love Will Montgomery. I'm actually big fan of them. Dick Vermeil's team. I go that you call me old. Yes, okay, I'm old, but I respect them very much. But no, they're not going very far this year. They're good. They'll make the playoffs because everybody makes the playoffs except the Jets. And but they'll first round now. But okay. Now I got a question.
But still keep watching Eagles Forever. Continue to keep watching the podcast.
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course.
Prove me wrong. I want you to come on here and set him up, whoever flies forever, to be our guest within the next couple of weeks, and let's talk Philly. Let him tell me why I'm wrong. Let him tell me how the Jets actually played them well with Zach Wilson at quarterback. And Robert Saleh, who is the worst head coach in the NFL. He just stands there and like a zombie wearing his little brother's T-shirt. He's terrible. Robert Saleh is a joke. But
now, however,
but speaking of jokes, hold on. Speaking of jokes, could we talk about those wannabe Montreal Canadian horrific jerseys the Giants had on, Charlie? What was that?
Oh, I was talking to my wife about that. First of all, I want to say, I think we have a new Dolphin fan in the house, in the household. That's who she was rooting for. She was like, yeah, all right, and I was just enjoying that from her because, at least somebody's rooting, right?
Right.
Shout out to all those Florida teams, that won today. But I saw those uniforms and I'm like, with all the bad plays, I said, you know what? This is the worst uniform I've ever seen. I'm never gonna buy that shirt. I'm never gonna buy that jersey. Mine is classic big blue or
yes,
white.
You call big blue for a reason.
Exactly. Yep. What are you putting tent pants on? You're looking like preppy guys out there. And just I don't know what you guys are doing. I mean,
it looked like Best Buy had wear a Montreal Canadian jersey, and you tan slacks.
What is going on with that uniform? I was just disappointed at that design, being a
Right.
graphic designer myself, that I love art and stuff. I mean, I cannot I hope they don't wear those jerseys again. I mean, if I see that all year round, it's gonna be a problem. I mean, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this anymore.
I had a rough time watching the Mets, just their City Connect jerseys last.
Oh, they're awful.
Oof.
They are awful.
I
mean, just egregious foul. So let me ask you this, Charlie. Other than your Giants, who has the best uniform in the NFL?
Let's see here. It's hard to pick another team, but I want to say maybe I think I like the Rams.
Very nice.
The Rams jersey. That has to be like blue on it. That has to be blue.
No, I get that.
Close to that. I mean, and yellow is one of my favorite colors as well. So I mean, I would probably say the Rams.
So I know we're talking about a bunch of things. Get back to the Giants in a second. But now, Charlie, how long have you been a football fan?
I mean, like I said, I started watching it when I was like an 8-year-old, watching Joe Klecko, Mark Gastineau.
Oh, so good. So good.
My cousin, actually, he's 5 years older than me, or 4 years older than me. He was the one that introduced me into football. He says, "Hey, you should watch the Jets," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." And
that team was great.
Oh yeah, Altoon.
Yeah.
What was the running back's name? I remember.
Bruce Harper.
McNeil.
Free McNeil, number 24. So good. Ran for 206 yards against the Bengals. And if the Bengals fan is still listening, Mike, if you can get in touch with them, what happened? How do you lose to the Patriots? That's like I mentioned earlier.
Oh
that's like Notre Dame losing to the little sister of the poor, like they did. Notre Dame lost to a junior high school team yesterday, literally, and then Cincinnati in their home opener lose to the Patriots. Why? Because they get a tying touchdown, lose a touchdown that would have won them the game later on, and the guy at the 1 yard line puts the ball up like, "Hey, look at me, throw me some flowers," and the Patriot knocked the ball right out of his hands. Just a knucklehead.
And we know, and one of the comments too, Robert is still in the chat, and I know that they typically Cincinnati is a slow starting team, but I was surprised by that outcome, as were many.
Patriots.
So yeah, but shout out, we've got 12 people in this chat. That is awesome. But shout out to Miguel Miranda is here. Good to see you, Robert Shoemaker, Brian Anderson, Eileen, and Flyers Forever, and so many others. Thank you guys for watching up. We still got about 15 minutes here, so continue to ask your questions. But I'm going to dive into another question. One of the things we like to talk about on the podcast too is the pregame experience. So we all know, if we go to a game, you get the hot dog or we get whatever, but we don't just get in our car, go to the game, go home and leave. Like, there's more to it. So Charlie, your experience, whether it's been in the past going to MetLife or just any kind of game in general, do you have something that you kind of typically do, like your own little, I got to go here to eat first before we go in the stadium, or I got to tailgate in the parking lot, or do you have your own little like pregame ritual?
Yeah, I used to. Well, I still do, do the same thing that I try to do, food wise, back in when I was in Jersey. But I used to live like a block away from my brother. And my brother's a Jet fan. So, I mean, we would always have our fantasy football team already set up and everything. And we would go to this place called Sharky's. And they had a good deal where, back then, I mean, it was like, I was drinking, but, we would go to Sharky's and we would get the special chicken wings and a pitcher of Coors Light. And we would just be there like the whole day. I mean, it was like that. That was like the pregame where we would be like, get ready for some football and just get into the whole excitement. And, nowadays, I mean, I still look forward to the chicken wings. My wife got some chicken wings today. And, it's all about the chicken wings, barbecue. We are planning some barbecues later on in the season for Sundays and just. enjoy a nice barbecue burgers. Now it's just Coke Zero, water, and just try to enjoy the game and chicken wings.
Yes, and those that don't know, you're never gonna have anything that Charlie doesn't make is a great dish. Everything you guys make is just awesome. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get together for one of those games for sure.
Oh yeah.
And we did have Robert chimed in, mentioning how the Bengals offense lacked today, too many missed opportunities, a fumble that turned into 7 points. So just a very unprepared offense. But a question that came in, I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but since it came through, Charlie, is a key takeaway from today's game for the Giants, if you wanted to share something off the cuff for those that joined a little bit late.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to see that the rookies, did well. Like I said before, it's kind of hard to take away from a disappointing performance. I was looking at, I know that we were going to talk about the roster, and I was looking at the roster, and I'm like, this offensive line is full of vets. With the exception of the center. The center's second year. He's on his second year, so I feel like we need to protect the quarterback more and give him a little bit more. I guess more. I guess he had more. He had time, but I mean, I wanna say that I feel like again, Neighbors. I don't want to be repetitive, but I mean, I think I was happy to see Neighbors have a good game, positive game. Nothing drawn to him saying, "Oh, what a disappointment performance by rookie Neighbors." He did his job. I feel like he was focused, and he caught the ball when it was thrown to him. And it was just disappointing not to see him score on his first game. But other than that, I mean, everything else was disappointing.
You mentioned the roster. One of the things we have to, I know we've got about 10 to 15 minutes left here. One of the things we have to ask one of our staples on the show, and this is going to go to you, Charlie, and if anyone else, any of the 14 of you now that are watching along, want to put yours in the chat as well. The question is, what we'd love to ask is, who is your Mount Rushmore for the New York Giants? I usually err on the side of I've seen this person either on my television screen or in person, not someone back in the day, but if it can be anybody. But who would your 4 be off the cuff for your Mount Rushmore?
So for my eras, I mean, that I've watched the Giants play in the years, I thought of LT, being up there with Strahan, Phil Simms, just because, he's a Super Bowl winner. He helped the second one win with with his start, even though he was injured, but I mean, he was part of it. And Eli. I cannot not have Eli in Mount Rushmore because Eli, 2-time MVP, he beat the Patriots twice, and out of all the Super Bowls that the Patriots has been, he lost those 2 to 3. He lost 3, 1 to the Eagles, 2 to the Giants. And that was a feat in itself. That he, just going in there, going against that tremendous team. I cannot leave him out of there.
Yep, and we know, and those of you familiar with the Giants, if you want to put in the comments, anyone else that maybe he didn't include, but shout out to, gotta read this on the air, shout out to Jake for this one. One person that will never be on that list is Daniel Jones. He mentioned, and this is a true statement, you can get a 4-piece McNugget Happy Meal for $5.39. And can't throw a TD, can't read a defense, but makes people happy. Or you can go with Daniel Jones for $160 million. Also can't throw touchdowns, also can't read a defense, and makes people sad. So shout out to Jake on that one. That was awesome. So Also wanted to welcome in Evelyn to the chat as well. And Marianne Redmond, I know her. She is on the podcast listening with us as well at 8:45. Big Brother's about to come on. That's why she's still up. So hi, Mom. Welcome to the podcast. And So, Darren, any names that were left off from Charlie's list that you want to throw on there?
Well, a couple. The Mount Rushmore starts with Lawrence Taylor. I would have Lawrence Taylor on there. I would have, kicking it old school, I would originally was going to say Sam Huff because he was the first Giant to cross over into media. He had his own television show, and then he ended up with the Eagles. But, I would say Frank Gifford because he had a great career. He even got laid out by an Eagle. And then he was an unbelievable Monday Night Football icon and just class all the way. And then, so I would say those two. I then would say you got to put Eli there. Eli didn't just win one Super Bowl, which would be enough. Yep. He won two. Right? He won two. And by the way, he beat the Patriots and took that undefeated season away from them. And the man just he got it done. So what is that? That 3 right now I gave you? Or did I give you the 4? Okay.
3.
That's 3. Yeah. The fourth you mentioned, Charlie, to me, is Phil Simms. Because they don't win that second Super Bowl without him early in that year. And if you don't remember, the Giants were trash for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They were trash. Had a great uniform, but they were they had Joe Pisarcik, the whole fumble and the whole thing, until they got that kid from Morehead State named Phil Simms. And things just changed. You had him, Lawrence Taylor, those 80s teams were incredible. And Jeff Hostetler took us over the finish line, but that was still Phil's team.
Yeah, of course.
Because who was the starting quarterback the following year? It was Phil. That was Phil's team. And then Frank Gifford and Lawrence Taylor. So that was it. That's who I'd pick.
And shout out, we have Mr. Ernie Perez online with us as well, chiming in. This is awesome. So glad to have you on here again. If you guys, still got about 10 minutes left before we have to shut this down. So any questions you guys have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. But what I wanted to ask you next, Charlie, and I think I already know Darren's kind of thoughts on this, but
I'm sure you do.
We always like to. We love talking about the team at hand and whatnot, but we always like to throw that bonus question in there. And again, everyone listening as well, what are your thoughts? Put those in the comments, and make sure you guys, if you can share with 5 people, 10 people, let's get us up to 1,000 subscribers. We've already went up 690 subscribers in the last 4 weeks. That is amazing. Get us to 1,000. Everybody, Chick-fil-A on me. No, but so
you can
Charlie,
eat
my
it
question.
on him.
Charlie, my question for you: your thoughts on the 2024 NFL overtime rules?
Oh, okay. So the overtime rules are gonna. How did they change? I know that off the top of my head is that they go down, or they if you score a field goal, you still have an opportunity to score. And that all changed with the Chiefs and Bills game. If you remember that game, it was back and forth, and the Bills lost. The Bills lost with I think it was with 10 seconds left. It was a disappointing for me. It was a disappointing loss for the Bills because I was really rooting for the Bills to win that game, and I was like, man, I cannot believe that they won this way. And so. I feel like every time that something happens, the NFL comes and wants to change it with a rule, right? I know it's annoying. The Philadelphia push or whatever they call that quarterback push with 4 inches. They wanted to put a rule against that. I feel like right now with the overtime rules, I think it's fair on both sides.
Yep.
If I mean, it gives the other team an opportunity. I mean, you're not just gonna lose. Oh well, I'm gonna kick a field goal, or I'm gonna score. You're giving the other team a chance to come back. And if they don't, then at least there was an opportunity.
Yep, I like it. I think they should at least have that opportunity. I think most would probably agree with that. And
I hope I answered that question correctly.
Yeah, no, you did. You did. One thing I always like to bring up too, those that may have children that are watching this podcast, or if you guys are catching on so a lot of times our children, when they're a little young, they may not know, they ask us the question, how much longer till the game's over? Maybe they want to spend time with you, go do something, and they look at the clock and it says 6 minutes and 52 seconds. Now in their little innocent minds, that means that in 6 minutes and 52 seconds the game's going to be over. But those of us that watch the NFL know that actually means 49 minutes. But going live sometimes is a bit, or going to a game in person is a little bit difficult sometimes because of all the timeouts and just there's a lot of dead air time, so to speak. But is there anything you think, because baseball is trying everything right to speed up their game, is there anything you guys can think of that could alleviate all those timeouts, or just how long that fourth quarter goes? Is there a way? I don't know if there is, but just wanted to ask that question.
I know we have to end. We have a hard close, but leave it alone. Leave it alone. Where you going? You going home so you can not talk to your significant other? I mean, that's what happens, right? You go in a separate room anyway, or you go to bed, or you go back to your life. I mean, stop it. Where you going? Slow down. Watch the game. Ashpet.
At least in my household, I mean, they know that. I mean, it's been hard, but I mean, they know that Sunday when it's football season, that's my sport, and I tell my wife, I tell Jazz, hey, the Giants are playing. I mean, I want to watch them. It sometimes created some friction, but I mean, it's gotten better. Where she knows that now that I hope that now that she's becoming a Dolphin fan. I don't know, but I mean, that we can enjoy these Sundays. She enjoys them. I mean, the family enjoys them, and then and everybody gets into it. I mean, my son, he doesn't like sports that much. He'll stick to when we're watching something on TV. He'll go online and game and play his video game. But definitely when there's family time that comes into play, we do prioritize that. Regardless of we'll end up watching the game wherever we're going to be going. That's what mobile devices are for. So I'll probably be like this with my phone and watching the score or something. But it balances out. I mean, I try to balance it out. I guess.
Okay, so we've got just about 60 seconds left, unfortunately. So my final quick question, Charlie. What is the New York Giants record at the end of this 2024-2025 season, right off the cuff? What do you think?
All right, so real quick. I mean, I think the first half they have a possibility. I mean, people may say that I'm crazy, but they probably go 5-5. Second half 2-5. The second half is definitely tough for them. They're facing some tough teams there, divisional, outside of division. So overall 7-10. That's my prediction. They're gonna, at least if they don't get any better, it might be even worse. But if they get better, 7-10, maybe a little, maybe 500, but not nothing over that.
Yep. And Darren, final thoughts? New York Giants football 2024-2025.
They will win 9 games. They will
9 games in 2024, or are you including 2025? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Wow, a lot of love in the room there. No, they'll win 9 games because they always play Dallas tough. They always play the Eagles tough. Their big problem has always been the team they're supposed to beat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just wanted to thank everyone on this live as we wrap things up here. Charlie, it was great. We always seem to think we have more time than we do. But this was a fun time. We'll love to have you back on in the future. For all 16 people watching right now, thank you so much for engaging with us and commenting and liking. Just, continue to subscribe, find people to subscribe and share, comment. Let us get us to 1,000 subscribers. Just a quick look ahead, what's coming. This Thursday night live, once again, we are going to have on Atomic Legacy Wrestling superstar El Ridiculoso on the podcast. Those that got to watch on Thursday with Jerry Swirls was an awesome time. We're going to kind of hear the rebuttal of El Ridiculoso and what he has to say about what he heard on Thursday night. And then finally, once again, next Sunday evening, we're going to be talking Los Angeles Rams football and Washington Nationals baseball. So we've got a lot of great stuff coming up. Thank you all so very much. Hope you can just continue to follow along with us. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you around the ballpark.
All right. Take care.
I thought I had it figured out, believed in us, we were meant to be, no